Here we go. Forging a Stoic mini-series presented by Hazy Headed. Book 12 of Meditations, the last and final review. After this segment, after I go through, read the major passages that I've seen, I will discuss my major takeaways. So first, I want to start with 6. Practice, even what seems impossible. The left hand is useless at almost everything for lack of practice, but it guides the reins better than the right from practice. Think about it. You're not going to be good at everything. You're going to be bad at a lot of things. But if you practice makes perfect. Simple as that. Marcus Aurelius tells us this to identify what we can improve on, and that's pretty much everything. So if you want to get better at something, it's as simple as that. You're not going to be a natural. Even Tiger Woods was probably the most prolific and talented golfer ever, but he had an insane work ethic. He took his game to the next level through practice, and that's being great at everything. Pretty straightforward. Next up, 32. The fraction of infinity of that vast abyss of time allotted to each of us, absorbed in an instant into eternity, the fraction of all substances and all spirit, the fraction of the whole earth you crawl about on. Keep all that in mind, and don't treat anything as important except what your nature demands, and accepting what nature sends to you. Think about that. That's a big highlight of meditations, this morality or mortality that we all deal with. You don't have a lot of time. You don't have this much. Even if you are fucking Drake, if you're the King of England, all these people that are super notable, whatever, we all have this much in history. We all are worth that much. So just be the best version of yourself. Work hard. Continue to work hard no matter what. I think it's very important to spend time with your family, spend time growing, and I think the rest is just fluff if you really think about it. But that's pretty much all for chapter 12, but I wanted to talk about key takeaways of my full reading of Meditations, because I learned a lot, and the philosophy of Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius's point of view, obviously, because it's his book. Number 1 key takeaway. These are all the biggest 4 key takeaways I've taken from Meditations, not in any order of importance. 1, we have a limited time. We are so we overlook our mortality so often, because days turn into months, turn into years, and then people say life is long, but it really is shorter than we even think about, because we don't want to face the fact that we're going to die someday. We try to cover that fact up all the time. Every second of every day, we're just mindlessly doom scrolling or watching Netflix, Hulu, these things to distract us. And Marcus really dials in on that, saying, we have so little time. We do not have time to waste. And it's true. If you don't have a goal, you need to find one and then execute it with little steps day by day. Use those compounding days to actually get something done and work hard towards that goal. I think we inhibit ourselves from proceeding, because once we knock out something, we knock out little goals, it's like, oh, what's next? I got to make more goals. Well, you can always refine your abilities. You can always be a better communicator. You can always be kinder. You can always think. You always have something to improve on. So why not spend this limited time that we have? There's plenty of time for fun and celebration. But what if that fun and celebration comes after achieving a goal? You'd be celebrating a lot. You would be living a life full of celebration if you keep tackling goals constantly. So you'd already have that balance already. So that's the key takeaway. You have so limited time, and just use it being a good person, forging ahead, and just being someone you can be proud of. Second key takeaway, don't let perceptions of others affect you at all. Think about it. This has been like I said, this is top 4, and this is probably number 1 or number 2 easily. Don't let other people. So really think about this, because I think it's so subconsciously programmed into us to want to appease to other people, want to put on this facade of happiness and well-being, or, I'm this good person, like I'm the best, all these things. But we don't do, those are all good things to do for yourself. But oftentimes we do that to make ourselves look good for others. And that's just bogus. I think a lot of times, you talk to older people and they have this down pat, because I've talked to my dad, and, he's at a time in his life where that doesn't affect him at all. And I think that's a lot of people more on their twilight years. They've come to that realization because they're wise, because they've lived their life. But what if you could tackle that when you're younger? I'm not saying my dad didn't, or those people didn't, but I'm just saying they've got a real healthy grasp on that idea that, they've worked hard, they've earned money, they've built something to be proud of. What if we could start that earlier? What if a whole generation started that ideology earlier? Because it's kind of a weird thing that happens if we all thought that way, and we are all good people just to be good people for your intrinsic motivation. You would see a lot of good consequences coming from that, because if you have a whole generation of people speaking kindly, just any good deed, you will see that switch. Because right now it's you see social media is just making this worse. It's I'm happy, my life is good, and it's a way of pleasing others, and it's kind of unhealthy, because it'll come to a point, an impasse, where you are spending so much time appeasing others that your insides are gonna crumble. You're going to lose all intrinsic value. You're gonna realize that you have catered so much to this imaginary, trophy, imaginary pedestal, but you should only matter. That is one of the key points in meditations. Only what you're doing, what you're attacking, what you're trying to achieve, that is what's important. Number 3, work hard towards a goal. So we were just talking a lot about other people's perceptions affecting you, and this kind of ties in hand. If once you knock out that, not worrying about people what think of you, find that goal and put your whole life onto it. If you had a check and everything, if you had a check and you had a bank account with $1 gazillion, which you could equate to time, put everything on that check. Put all your time and energy in that goal, because at the end of the day, that is what's fulfilling. That is what's going to give you that motivating factor to actually do something, and I think you can only do that once you get the earlier down pat, which is not worrying about what other people think. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be thinking, this dude's crazy. He's doing that. He's risking it all for this. He doesn't have it figured out. He's not doing what everyone's supposed to be doing. He's not, worrying about he's not doing the XYZ, he's doing the ABC. So, don't shut out all that noise. Find something that fuels your soul. If people say it's impossible, so be it. Do it anyways. Marcus, I've highlighted a few points in this meditations of him saying that. He said the impossible with the soul, it's not impossible, and even if you think it is, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take that goal setting. It's going to take those small steps that compound into bigger steps that make you whole. That's why it's important to fall in love with the journey and just do it with passion. Do it as if your life depends on it, because it does. Do it because it makes you feel human. It makes you feel alive. It makes you, it's tapping into something bigger than yourself, because circling back around, where the morality's ticking, the time's a ticking. So doing something that inherently is good and it brings people together, and maybe the goal itself isn't directly impacting others, but get yourself to a point it can. Get yourself to a point where you have so much money or so much influence or anything that's powerful. You have so much of it that you're able to give back and help others and be that guiding force. Be a gazillionaire that can give back and, show love with no remorse. So that's a very important point. Set your goals high, aim high. The last point I have here, avoid pleasure. This one is so big for me, and maybe this isn't as much of a major point as it relates to my life, because it's so easy, and anyone can vouch for this. It's so easy to be doom scrolling. It's so easy to spend time overeating, all these unhealthy habits, drinking, smoking, pornography, anything that affects the mind in a way where it's a quick hit of pleasure. And that's what it is. Pleasure is not happiness. Do not get those two mixed up. If you're living a life going from one pleasurable experience to another without having to put in that work to earn that pleasure, it's to no fruit. It's fruitless, because it's a foundation that is fake. You smoking, getting that quick dopamine, everything that I just discussed, overeating, it's not sustainable. And pleasure will kill everything that you want to. Real pleasure is hard work, dopamine earned through hard work. So running, exercising, eating healthy, things like that. That's more of a dopamine level. But on a more peace/happiness level, it's going to be from your fruits of your labor. So whatever it is, if you want to just think about it, think about the endless opportunity there is in life. I'm just going to give you a scenario. Let's say you want to be an animator. Let's say you want to make short stories that talk about abuse and overcoming abuse, something cool like that. Imagine putting it all out on the line. Imagine you study how to animate. You use your resources to better your understanding of animation. You find people that are in the animation world. You network, you grow, and you spend your life working hard towards that. And after you get that, you're going to feel so good. You're going to feel amazing. That's the kind of pleasure that you want. And that pleasure is sustainable because you put in the work. You cut off the distractions. Anything that comes easy is not sustainable. Maybe it comes easy in a natural flow state, but as long as you're continuing to raise the bar for yourself, elevate your game, and work hard and learn more about animation and seeing what I can do to implement better in the future, making more stories. It's so cool. That is how you have to think. That is how, once you find something, attack it, sink your teeth into it, do everything you can. Do everything you can to work hard at it. That's how it is for me. At work, I've been raising the game, elevating my game. I work in insurance sales, so just working the same sort of process like that. My dream is to be an actor. My dream is to learn all I can about the craft, get auditions, learn my confidence, learn my lines, learn it inside and out, my craft, and it's going to pay off. And I'm telling you right now, whether it's one person that listens or 100,000 people that listen, I'm putting it all out there. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make something for myself, not anyone else. No more tiptoeing, no more eggshelling. This has been the most empowering book I've ever read. This series, Forging a Stoic, presented by Hazy-Headed Evan Brandt, has been the best experience of 2025 for me. I've learned how to cultivate my energy for better, how to be that person I want to be, and I highly recommend anyone that may listen to this series and wants to listen to it, go get it, copy, go to the library. It's been an amazing experience. Thank you all. I've loved this. Thank you for listening to the last episode of my mini series. Take it easy. Love you all.